Everybody, we usually start with public comments at all of our meetings. We have two speakers tonight. I'd like to go ahead and read the directions for public comment before we bring our speakers up. The following are the rules for public comment as stated in Board Policy 2310. Speakers will be limited to 3 minutes per person. There'll be a timer set up and we will alert you when your time has expired. I would like to remind you that the board members generally will not respond to public comment except to request clarification. Once the speaker's name is called, they will approach the podium and state their issue. The following are not permissible topics for public comment: matters involving specific personnel or employees of the Board of Education, including employment conditions or complaints about specific employees. Complaints about an employee should be directed to our HR office. Matters involving specific students in the school system, including student disciplinary matters, and obscene or vulgar language will not be tolerated, nor will conduct or language that disrupts the meeting or interferes with the board's ability to carry out its work. As the board chairman, I may immediately terminate any comments which violate these rules. And the first person we have for public comment is Gerard Morrison. Good evening, Gerard. Welcome back.
Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Chair, school board, staff. Always good to see you all. Happy Black History Month, everybody. Today I wanted to make sure we reflect on those who have helped this manifest where we are today. So came to mind about Macy McQueen, the first black woman elected to the school board. My street, Charlotte Street, beloved Charlotte Street, Macy O. McCahan, first black elected to the school board and to the county commissioners. J.W. Mask Sr. and Jr., who served during the segregation over all the school systems. Alan Mask Sr., who was also in that capacity and a principal. Coach, my mom is actually here tonight. It's her first time. She moved back to the area, so it's her first time in here. And we got another guy who's coming right behind me. He's new to the area, but he's serious about the community, so I want to welcome. But also the Diggs, Reverend H.S. Diggs, Mrs. Tillman, Mr. James Hand, Mrs. Hand. A lot of these folks help. Let me know when it's 30 seconds, please, Corey.
You got the timer right there.
Oh, high tech. Go
I
Richmond
can't
County.
see it, so
Go
it's
ahead.
on
Look at
now.
y'all. Showing out today. That's what I'm talking about. Progress. Pine Street School, Rosenwald Schools, East Hamlet School, Capitol Highway School, Hoffman, Mineral Springs. We'll make sure that these histories do not just go on deaf ears. It's a lot more. I may not hit it all today, but I want folks, if nothing else, to be provoked and say what happened. Help us research some, and not just the kids of the day, the older ones. We need to make sure we research and we know thyself and thy history. And ones that my homeroom teacher, she's in a senior living facility now, Miss Dolores Foreman, and she and Miss Trudy Watkins, they did a lot with me. I didn't know I was a math star, and Coach Mitchell they made me learn it. So math has always been a thing to me. I tell you, the arts is the manifestation of STEM. But on Black History Month, just want to make sure these names and the public, if y'all don't mind, we can yell out some names with me that you all can remember at this time, whether they're living or passed on. Any names that everybody else wants to say?
I remember Reverend Moody, who was one of our custodians for 30 years.
Charles Moody.
Yeah, just passed away.
And Bunny Lee Wall. Any others? Mary Fowler, yes, Amy's aunt. Shelley Fuller, Shirley, A&T graduate, Aggie Pride.
Got about 10 seconds.
There we go. You got something too, Rick. Come on, Corey. You got him. Mr. Dupree, Ms. Ruth Watkins, Mr. J.C. Watkins, Bruce, Herbert Quick, Pete Peterson, Bobby Little. Yes.
Motion.
All right.
Time's up. Thank you very much.
Mr. Chairman. Thank you all for participating.
Some really great people. Great people. Had an opportunity to work with a lot of them. Mr. Lattimore.
Latimer, yes, sir. Latimer, yes.
Latimer.
Yes, retired Marine. I moved to Richmond County here about 2 years ago, and I see a lot of changes kind of happening, so I wanted to keep it real quick. I'm not one to kind of draw on, I kind of prepare what I want to say. This is talking about diversity. Diversity, equity, and inclusion, these are not just buzzwords, everyone. They are principles that have transformed workplaces, schools, and communities for the better. And who has benefited from all of this? All of us. Employees with diverse backgrounds have gained access to opportunities that were once not reached or out of reach for them, leading to innovation and economic growth, which this county definitely needs. Women and people of color have broken barriers in industries where they were historically kind of depressed and not allowed to have access to. Veterans and individuals with disabilities and even the LGBTQ community have found work where the workplace has gotten better for them, and they're judged on their talents and not on their differences. But the benefits don't stop here. Businesses and communities and school systems with strong diversity inclusion initiatives see higher performance and profitability. Schools with inclusive environments produce well-rounded, culturally competent graduates, and society as a whole becomes stronger, and everyone has a seat at the table. So I want to make sure that I understand that a lot of things are changing, and we like to, when we hear the acronym DEI, it's almost like a buzzword, and I want to put emphasis behind it. Diversity, equity, inclusion. Those are the things that have shaped me as a well-rounded person. I grew up in a country town with cattle, but I also played rugby for Clemson University, but I also went to the Marine Corps. I also go snowing in Aspen. I'm a very well-rounded person because of the people I completely surround myself, so I can empathize with different groups, and I can maybe not understand everything, but I can at least have a ground root understanding of what you're trying to overcome. So to not be inclusive to everyone, to not have women included, to not have African Americans included, to not to have white men included as well in these conversations, you're only selling yourself short. Thank you.
Mr. Latimer, thank you very much, and thank you for your service to this country.
Thank you.
Well, welcome to the February 11th, 2025 school board meeting. The board declares there is a quorum present of board members for this meeting. Will the board please come to order? Mr. Etheridge, I will turn it over to you.
You join me in a moment of silence. Thank you. If you face the flag, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tillman, or Mr. Etheridge.
Get him in the middle.
Board members, you have the open minutes from the January 14th and the January 28th work session. Are there any changes needed to those minutes?
I'll make a motion.
Make a motion by Mr. Etheridge to approve those minutes. A second? Second by Mr. Mason. Any discussion? All approved by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? They are approved. Thank you. Dr. Farrell, are there any changes to the agenda?
No, sir, there are no changes.
Okay, great. So under the consent of the board, we will approve the agenda, and we are moving right along. We'll go to our business part of the meeting, and we will call on Ms. Cameron Whitley. Jerry and Ronald, me and you will go down for
Okay.
the first place.
Good evening, Chairman Satterfield, Dr. Farrell, and members of the board. I'm excited to introduce our Inspiring Excellence Award winners for tonight, and we will start with Richmond Early College High School with Principal Joy Harrelson.
Thank you, Cameron. Good evening, Chairman, members of the board, and Dr. Farrell. Thank you for having me tonight. First, I would like to recognize Ms. Sandra McDonald. She's the school counselor at Richmond Early College, and she has been chosen by her colleagues for the Inspiring Excellence Award in recognition of her unwavering dedication to student success. She's in her 18th year with Richmond County Schools, and this is her 8th year as the counselor at Reach. Mrs. McDonald is known for her compassion and caring nature, and she goes above and beyond to support students in both their academic and personal growth. She serves as the advisor for the Fellowship of Christian Students Club and fosters a strong sense of community and leadership. Additionally, Mrs. McDonald plays a crucial role in guiding seniors through the college application and scholarship process, ensuring that every student has the resources and encouragement they need to achieve their goals. Richmond Early College is certainly a better place because Mrs. McDonald is on our team. Mrs. McDonald.
Come on, Jerry, get in here.
One, two, and three. Thank you. Congratulations, Sandra. Yes, thank you.
Also chosen by our colleagues for the Inspiring Excellence Award is Ms. Butler. This is due to her exceptional dedication and service at Richmond Early College. With 19 years' experience in Richmond County Schools, including 17 years at Reach, she is truly a jack of all trades. Although she is technically our bookkeeper and the data manager, her daily roles encompass technology support, student scheduling, the student nurse, attendance clerk, supplies and ordering, and so much more. All of these things make her an invaluable part of the school. Ms. Butler is also known for building strong, trusting relationships with both students and parents, and she takes the time to know every student by name. As the face of the front office, she is a constant source of support and positivity at Reach, and we are so blessed to have her. Ms. Butler.
Great, and next up from West Rockingham Elementary School, we'll have Miss Joy Watson.
Good evening, Chairman, Dr. Farrell, and members of the board. Our Outstanding Teacher Assistant Award goes to Ms. Rita Woodard. Her exceptional contributions at West Rockingham are through dedicated service, outstanding support to our students, staff, and community. She provides invaluable one-on-one attention to students requiring additional academic support, helping them build the confidence and achieve their successful goals. Maintain detailed records for students' behavior, shown remarkable flexibility in adapting to the different teaching styles and classroom needs across multiple settings from pre-K to 5th grade. Created and prepared educational materials to enhance the lesson effectiveness and student understanding. Also, when we go and talk about our student support, she consistently offers the patient, nurturing support to students facing academic and emotional challenges. Some morning, Ms. Woodard comes in and she's a teacher assistant, and then she covers the class, and then she's our nurse by the afternoon attending the front office. So she helps in multiple ways and is always there in the evening for any volunteer events that we may have. And now we recognize Ms. Rita Woodard.
That works for you. Okay. One, two.
next Excellent Award goes to Tammy Locklear. She teaches first grade. She has distinguished accomplishments are she's innovative teaching methods with unwavering dedication to our school. She's created an exclusive classroom environment where every student feels valued, empowered to reach their full potential. She's implemented creative learning strategies and blended this traditional teaching methods with STEM, making learning both engaging and effective. Maintained outstanding communication with parents and creates a collaborative partnership and enhances the student's success overall. She initiates cross-curricular projects that bring learning to life and meaningful connections across those subjects. Her impact on student success is achieve remarkable student growth in both academic performance and their social-emotional development. She inspires the love of learning every day, and this extends beyond the classroom. She fosters critical thinking skills and problem-solving abilities to prepare students for their future academic challenges. And we have
Now you have some special recognition,
I
right?
do have very special recognition.
All right.
So tonight, we wanted to take a moment to honor one of our very own. One of our school board members, Mr. Ronald Tillman, was recently awarded the Badge of Excellence by the North Carolina Department of Public Safety. It's the department's highest honor, which is given to people who make outstanding contributions across the state and to their community. Mr. Tillman was selected in the category of public service and volunteerism, and I'm going to share the definition for that category. It's described as honoring individuals who make significant contributions through their involvement in community and public service projects driven purely by a commitment to serve without expectation of reward or recognition. I believe everybody in this room will agree that that is a perfect definition of Mr. Ronald Tillman. Much like the peers who nominated you for this award, every single one of us are honored to serve with you. We appreciate everything you do. Thank you for your service to Richmond County Schools and being an advocate for our students.
Y'all want a picture?
Yes,
Come on, Ron, you're not getting out of the days.
Are we all coming for this one?
Ron, do you want all of us in it? You gotta get the most important person.
Yes.
Boss.
Let's see. Here, perfect. All right, 1, 2, 3. Very good. Thank you, guys.
You made us so proud. I knew you way back when.
Yeah, long time. Mr. Ingram, another special recognition.
Yes. Chairman Satterfield, Dr. Farrell, members of the board, I'm happy to recognize our MLK Essay and Poster Contest winners. The Richmond County Martin Luther King Jr. Celebration Foundation sponsored its annual MLK Jr. Essay and Poster Contest in collaboration with Richmond County Public Schools. This year, our students submitted essays and posters to reflect the following theme: Mission Possible, protecting freedom, justice, and democracy. I can't say enough positive words about the quality of the submissions this year. Some of them are exhibited in our reception area. of the central office. Thanks to our teachers and the leadership of art teacher mentor Karen Good for these wonderful submissions. On January 20th, 2 students were recognized at the MLK Junior Celebration Luncheon for winning first place in the poster and essay contest. Our first place poster winner is Brian Huerta. He's an 8th grader at Hamlet Middle School, and this is his artwork right here displayed in front of us. He did a wonderful job. I want him to come up and recognize him. Congratulations, Brian. I believe his family's here, his principal's here. Ask him to come up. We hope Brian will let us keep it for a while. We're going to put it back on our wall in the reception area, but he did a beautiful job. Very, very.
Put it towards the back so everybody can see
Sure,
it.
yes, thank you. And now it's my pleasure to recognize our first place essay winner. She's a 9th grade student at Reach Early College, Adrienne Southall. We want her to come up and to read her essay.
Hello. Imagine living in Mission Possible. Imagine living in a world where you can't speak your mind, where your rights are ignored, and you have no control over your own life. That's the world Martin Luther King Jr. fought to change. He dreamed of a world of freedom, justice, and democracy. And his letter from that Birmingham jail cell brings out the power of that dream. It's a call to action, a reminder that ideals aren't just lofty words, but the very foundation of a better future, a future we all have in hand in building. What does freedom truly mean to you? It's not just about physical freedom, but the freedom to think your own thoughts, express your own ideas, and make your own choices. King understood this deeply. Freedom is never voluntarily given by the oppressor, but it must be demanded by the oppressed, he wrote. Freedom isn't a gift. It's something we must fight for, challenge injustice for, and demand as a right. King's fight for civil rights was a fight for this very freedom, the freedom to be ourselves and reach our full potentials. Justice is about fairness and equality for everyone. It's about a society where everyone has the same opportunities and is treated with dignity and respect. King's powerful words, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice anywhere, reminds us that injustice against one person diminishes us all. We can't stand by and watch injustice happen. We have to speak up, stand up, and fight for what's right. King's vision of a just world requires us to be active participants, challenging democracy and fighting for equality. Democracy is a tool we use to build a society based on freedom and justice. It gives us a voice, a way to participate in decisions that shape our life. It allows us to hold our leaders accountable and push for a positive change. King understood that democracy is essential for protecting our freedoms and ensuring justice for all. But democracy isn't a spectator sport. It requires us to get involved. We have to vote, speak out, and organize to make sure our voices are heard. And our government truly represents the people. King's dream of a just and equitable society depends on a vibrant and participatory democracy. King's legacy is a constant reminder that the fight for freedom, justice, and democracy is a journey, not a destination. It takes constant vigilance, courage, and commitment to build a better world for ourselves and for generations to come. His words and actions challenge us to ask ourselves, what am I doing to protect these essential values? How am I contributing to a more just and equitable society? The answers to these questions will determine the future we build together.
that is the conclusion of our recognition, so if everybody's, might be the time to move now, because we'll go through it pretty quick. Thank you, Mr. Ingram and Ms. Whitley, for the special recognitions tonight.
You doing the Farm Bureau record?
So are we still gonna do Farm Bureau, Miss Regina
Yeah.
Uribe?
Yes.
Is that right?
Uribe.
Uribe,
Yep.
all right.
So, good evening, Chairman Satterfield, Dr. Farrell, and members of the board. On behalf of Greg Norton, we would like to just acknowledge and give you some updates on some things coming out of the CTE world. So we have Regina and we have Mark here. Regina's going to talk about her Farm Bureau grant that she has secured for our students. And Mark Bell is going to talk about esports at Richmond Senior. So I'm going to let you go first.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you for inviting me. I am at Ellery Middle School, and we're piloting the EY30 program, which is touching on career explorations in a lot of different careers for our students. I am a business, all of my experience is in business. So this year with my 8th graders, we are doing plant systems, animal systems, and sustainable agriculture. Farm Bureau has a classroom program, and so I wrote the grant, and with the $500, we've got a greenhouse, some shelving for our greenhouse, a whole envelope full of different seeds, and we have some carrots sprouting in a hydroponic thing with water that we already had from the CTE program. And we've got some cabbage plants coming up in little bathroom Dixie cups that are going to go in our greenhouse soon. And we've got some cabbage and some cilantro that the students are going to get to take home with them. And hopefully we'll have some produce for them to get to take home with them too. And I have since written the grant, found out that my 6th grade teachers in science, they actually put plant leaves into the microscopes for the kids to look at in the science program. So hopefully the Farm Bureau grant will have the plants that have the leaves to help our 6th graders and spread this across our whole school that way. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Mr. Chair, ma'am, members of the board, Dr. Farrell, community, and other staff. My name is Mark Bell. I'm a proud CTE teacher at Richmond Senior. I teach the graphic arts. I talk a lot, so I wrote some notes down, and they know I talk a lot. I'm here incredibly proud to share the remarkable achievements of Richmond Senior's first ever esports team during the inaugural season. We began an ambitious endeavor, thanks to Mr. Ingram over here, listen to me talk and stuff like that, quickly transformed into a story of dedication, teamwork, and impressive skills of more than a dozen students who were doing something that they loved while representing Richmond Senior High School and the county. Despite being one of the only large schools with no gaming lab, the Raider team made significant impact in the esports community in North Carolina. Competing against established teams from across the state, they not only held their own, but soared to finish 3rd place, only behind Cedar Ridge and North Onslow High School in the entire state against a whole bunch of great schools that have established esports programs. They did this feat. It speaks of talent, passion, and hard work of our students. Our students demonstrated resilience, creativity, determination, utilizing the individual strengths to come together as a team with little adult supervision. Their ability to adapt, learn, and excel in a highly competitive environment despite having to practice and compete on personal devices and makeshift devices at home. This is a testament to the commitment and to the sport and to each other. And I do have 2 students with me. I have Mr. William Bayless, and I have Giovanni Steele. This gentleman right here, he was our team captain. He did everything. He got to talk to the adults. He had to talk to the state. You know, as we move forward, we're one game away from going to state championships in Charlotte. So just an incredible testament what we can do, because for us, being from this type of county, we give, not everybody can wear the Raider Diamond on a uniform, but we give them another Raider Diamond playing esports. They did a great job. So that's all I just want to just recognize these 2 students, and his mom's Tiffany's here too, so she's proud. And can you get a couple pictures with them?
Sure can, yeah.
Yeah, because these are 2 great kids. Because if it wasn't for the parents, you know, supporting, because this is something new. You're walking
You
up.
want me to take a picture
No,
of
you're
y'all?
walking up there with your side.
I thought you wanted me to be the
No.
photographer.
Huh? Oh, no, it's okay.
Yes, you were the advisor. Go ahead.
Oh.
It's the rules.
Ask if they should need her to take the picture.
Yeah, there you go. Every time. 1, 2, 3. Okay, one more. Right, 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Mr. Johnson, good evening. How are you, sir?
Good evening. I'm good. Standing up right after last night, so that's a good thing.
Good game, a
I'm,
good win last night.
Thank you, Coach Pettigrew did a good job.
Yep.
So did the boys. I'm flying solo tonight for various reasons, so I'll be pretty brief. We don't have to stand up and take any pictures. We're going to recognize 2 teams and 1 individual athletically. The Hamlet Middle School, I still want to say junior high a lot of times. Cross country team won the conference championship this year, so good accomplishment for them. The cheerleaders at the high school, let's see if I can get this right without having it in front of me, it's a tongue twister. The North Carolina High School Athletic Association 4A Division I co-ed non-tumbling state championship. I think that's correct. Quite the accomplishment for them. We recognized them recently at a game. And then individually, Kamari Morgan, great young man, great football player, played in the East-West game. He also recently won the conference in wrestling at his weight class, and he'll be competing in regionals this weekend and has a very legitimate chance to win the state championship. He's lost 1 match this year, and that was to the defending state champion, so hopefully he'll get on the road in the next few weeks and avenge that and make us all proud. So, told you to be brief. That's all I got tonight.
Hey, Coach, could you give me that cheerleading division one more time? I was going to write it down.
Let me go get my phone out real quick.
James,
I got that
I
right.
do want to tell you that the athletic facilities at the high school are looking tremendous. I know it's a lot of work to keep on doing that, but the soccer field, the football field, even though it's no football right now, the baseball field and what Coach Brown is doing out there, it looks gorgeous. And of course, the practice fields and softball field, and it's just so kudos to the staff out there.
I'd say that's 99% of our coaches, but it's probably 100%.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, the field work's not my area of expertise, and those guys do a good job. Anytime Dr. Carter asks to meet about a field, so I'm bringing Brad, or I'm bringing Eric, or I'm bringing Chris, or whoever it is with me to make sure I don't mess something up. So those guys do a great job. So.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
James, where are those regional wrestling, where's that?
Ooh, Green Level High School. Y'all put me on the spot with the questions. Green Level. I want to say Cary, but it could be Apex.
Okay.
I get Green Level and Green.
County,
I get Green Level and Green Hope.
Green Hope,
a
yes.
little mixed up sometimes.
But
So
this is just regional.
this is
and then
regionals. and
State will
see,
be
you're gonna
another
start
weekend.
asking me a lot of questions about wrestling, and I'm gonna give you a wrong answer.
Okay, no,
I'm still learning some of them.
I wouldn't know the difference.
Stab, just a wild guess. I think the top 4 will qualify for state in each region.
Okay.
I could be wrong right there. So, but I think he's got a very legitimate shot to make the state. Overall, there's 8 wrestlers, I think, competing this weekend. It was 6 to 8. There's some stuff with qualification and seeding go on. And then I think Coach Ellerby is expecting maybe 2 to 3 to advance to the states. Kamari obviously being one of them.
It is Cary, North Carolina. That's what the internet can do for you.
Every once in a while you get a guess right.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Thank you, James.
Thank you. Good evening.
Yep.
And you forgot to mention the most important thing, that Kamari has committed to the great University of Fayetteville State University.
Oh, yeah. Well, good for him. Yeah.
Eventually, when we get all of our people and their families on the same page, we'll have a signing day ceremony.
That's good.
It's been a little adventurous here lately.
See, reschedule the board meeting conversation with Dr. Smith.
Yes.
Good evening, Chairman Satterfield, Dr. Farrell, and members of the board. It has come to our attention that our Arts Alive programs in March are scheduled for a Tuesday afternoon that is also a board meeting. This event lasts from 3 to 7, and so with the art showcase first, and then they have a 6 o'clock band performance. And it is a district-wide event, which means all schools will be represented, and so typically, you know, we invite district leadership because it is a district event. This date was set last year before we moved our board meetings to the second Tuesday, and so it was a complete oversight. Nothing short of just a complete oversight. So because this is a district-wide event, we wanted to bring it to you all and to your attention in case you wanted to move that board meeting night. Again, it begins at 3 with the art showcase. The band performances begin at 6. So just wanted to bring that to your attention in case you wanted to consider moving that.
Make a motion that we consider moving to the 10th.
Monday the 10th at 5 o'clock. So I have a motion.
I second.
Second by Ms. Ormsby. Any discussion? Eva, are you okay with that? Okay.
Works for me.
All right.
Okay,
All in
thank
favor
you.
by saying aye? All opposed?
Thank
It
you.
is moved to the 10th. Thank you, Dr. Smith. Dr. Smith, you are up again with the school calendar.
Okay, so good evening. If you all remember, last year we surveyed all staff to find out specific needs and wants for the academic calendar for this school year. It asked for more teacher work days, specifically at the end of every grading period, both parent-teacher conference days to be full days, and more site-based PD. This school year's calendar for 24-25 meets all of those requests. So in order to create more work days, we just simply extended the instructional minutes to ensure that we still met calendar law, okay? For this year, our TAC, Teacher Advisory Council, met in late fall to discuss possible calendar options for the 25-26 school year. That again included requests from our previous meetings with them, survey data, as well as any changes that might need to happen for the 25-26 school year calendar. We provided the TAC, Teacher Advisory Council, 3 options that met the specific requirements or requests that each member discussed with their individual school. So those options included requests like more teacher work days at the end of each grading period, 2 full-day parent-teacher conference days. They asked that our spring parent-teacher conference day be moved a little earlier in the spring semester. There was requests for our calendar to end by Memorial Day, as do other districts. Semester 1 ending before Christmas break, just like the early college, and breaking up the usual long stretch from February to March where there are very few breaks. So those were the requests that we got this year from TAC, and they discussed this with their schools. So our Teacher Advisory Council took back the information, had conversations. Based on that feedback, we brought them 2 options, and you have those before you in board docs, and we gave those to you last month. So based on those 2 options, we went back and resurveyed high school staff and talked to the high school principals specifically about option 2 and to get some discussion going about the shortened first semester. And the feedback from those administrators and speaking with their staff was that this would be okay to send to the all district for a final vote. So, as you guys see in board docs, the calendar was sent to RCS all staff 2 weeks ago, and we had 525 staff members vote. Of those 525, we had 75% choose option 2. And you all have the specifics outlined for each option, and this is an action item, so we will need board approval to move forward with adopting option 2 as our 25-26 school year calendar. Any discussion or questions?
I have a question.
Sure.
And I'm fine with what they have done.
Okay.
You know, I think the teachers should kind of own the calendar as much as the administrators.
Yep.
But I do have a question about the 6 required and 3 optional work days at the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And what is the plan for schools on those days after kids are out? That's a lot of time. That's almost 2 weeks. So what is gonna happen? Are there gonna be is gonna be staff development? Or you can do summer school while the teachers are there, so we don't have to afford that money, extra money? Or is there gonna be cleanup days, cause all schools need cleanup days and all that, so is there a plan in place, or are you going to put a plan in place?
Yes.
Cause I can't see doing 9 days without
Sure.
a plan.
Yeah, absolutely. We discussed with administrators about, well, they brought to us the idea of a lot of professional development on the front end and professional development on the back end, because they don't like it throughout the year. They want teacher work days throughout the school year, and have more PD on the front and the back end. Certainly, we will need to speak with finance about summer school and how that can operate on those work days, as far as people getting paid, because I just need to talk with finance about that as far as the EOG remediation camp.
Yeah, they would get paid their regular salary,
Yes,
they wouldn't
right.
get paid extra,
Yes,
because you
so
can't get paid twice.
And we actually have to trade some days out, because already right now with our calendar. So that will be a conversation with finance. Worst case scenario, if we cannot do the summer school during those days, we would offer PD trainings. We would absolutely make a plan.
And would you share that plan with us?
Absolutely.
So you have like a year and a half, you have
Yes.
a year to do that.
Yes, yes.
I just don't want nothing to be done.
Of
I was a
course.
principal, I was a teacher, I knew all the ins and outs.
Yep.
I would just say, Kate, I'm glad to see that in option 2, that for the first semester, we're gonna end that before going into Christmas or going into the new year. I think that was something that the board has, the last couple of years, that was something that we was wanting to get in place.
Yes, sir.
And so I do like that. I think that's beneficial to our kids, to our staff, to go and get everything done before we go into Christmas break.
It also aligns with the early college.
Absolutely, yep.
Anything else?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to accept the recommendation of option 2 for the traditional calendar, as well as the Reach Early College calendar as proposed.
So I have a motion to accept both calendars as presented. Do I have a second motion?
I second.
Mr. Baldwin seconds it. Is there any further, is there any further discussion? All in favor by saying aye?
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you, Dr. Smith, and you will make sure you will get that staff development calendar to us next year.
Absolutely. That's my jam.
Is that your jam?
That's my jam.
Now, a favorite thing, the Richmond Senior High new curriculum courses.
Yeah, so for the 25-26 school year, Richmond Senior has requested to add a few new courses for their curriculum guide. And so those include the Freshman Experience, Introduction to AI, Principles of Informational Technology, and then several new PE courses, Athletic Management and Lifetime Sports. And so this is an action item, and we'll need approval from you all.
I'll make the motion.
Mr. Edwards makes a motion to accept the new courses as presented. Second by Mr. Mason. Lifetime Sports was a class when I was in high school, so we're bringing it back.
Bringing it back, yes.
Any other discussion? All in favor by saying aye?
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you, Dr.
Thank
Smith.
you.
E-rate with Miss Catherine Bendell.
Good evening, Chairman Satterfield, Dr. Farrell, and members of the board. Richmond County Schools is implementing a bus Wi-Fi program to enhance student connectivity at Richmond Senior High School. As a part of the Digital Equity Grant awarded to the district, which facilitated the distribution of laptops to Richmond Senior High School students in the fall, this initiative aims to extend internet access beyond the school environment to further support digital learning. To achieve this, the district solicited proposals for Wi-Fi services for up to 65 buses, allowing for flexibility in quantities as needed. Contracts will be awarded for a 3-year term, with any additional buses added during the contract period co-terminating with the original agreement. Proposals were evaluated based on industry standards and alignment with the district's specifications. The procurement was conducted in accordance with E-rate requirements, and 4 bids were received. Following a comprehensive evaluation using a scoring rubric, Lockstep, otherwise known as Bridge Tech, emerged as the highest ranked vendor as has been selected by the contract. With board approval, the district will move forward with the implementation of this project, beginning with the installation of Wi-Fi on 17 buses. So my question is to you, do you have any questions, first of all? And secondly,
Will there be any dead spots with this?
will there be any what?
Dead spots?
No, so the way that it's set up is with the lockstep, the way that they have it set up, so that based on the providers, whether it's AT&T, Verizon, those areas, wherever there's a dead spot with one company, it'll pick up with another company, so there should not be any dead spots.
So all the firewalls are still in place?
As far as with our security, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they didn't have that when COVID was here, where it would pick up one, where it was just one thing, and it wouldn't pick up like an AT&T or a Verizon.
Right.
So the advancing technology is unbelievable now.
Yes, so they have dual, where you can pick up where one falls, the other one will pick up. Yes, with those modems.
But we did have it on the buses prior to COVID.
No,
No.
we didn't.
Oh,
I'm saying, where we were,
Oh.
where I was, we had it on buses, and it was hard, very hard, because we didn't have the technology. The technology has grown with COVID.
Right.
So we would put it on 17 buses?
It will be for 17 buses, yes, and then the possibility that if we ever wanted to extend it to other buses within our district, we could. But right now, it's 17 buses or what is at the Richmond Senior High School. But there's about 65 in the district, so we'll do 17. Yes.
So Catherine, you're saying we're just gonna put it on the high school buses?
Yes, yes. So as part of, you remember, I came back in the fall and was telling you about how we got the grant to provide, devices for Richmond Senior.
Right.
And so in part of that grant, one of the requirements was to make sure that we were able to provide internet for students beyond the classroom day. And so one of those things is to provide them other ways. And so as they travel on the bus home, this would be another option to do that, as well as provide hotspots if people needed hotspots and things like that. Because it was a digital divide grant where we wanted to have not only internet and device usage at school, but also let them have it at home. And so this is part of that.
This is just a question. I know back when we were with COVID, we sent buses out, I guess, that had hot spots. So have we thought about, like, I know in some areas of the county, some kids might not have access to internet. Have there been any thought about maybe trying to move buses around and be in a certain area for a certain amount of time so that families can get on the hotspot?
I mean, we definitely could be open to that. That's something that we would just need to discuss as a district, if that's something that we wanted to look into. With the capability of having hotspots, this right here, then, I mean, we have the capability if that's something that we want to choose to do in our district. And that's something that
Does the bus
we
have
could
to be
definitely discuss
on
it.
for the internet to be working? Because that was the same problem we had when we did this during COVID, is that the bus had to be on. So we actually
I would
paid
say
bus
yes.
drivers during the day to sit on their bus with it going, so families could come, right, which, that was with COVID money too, so.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely will be hooked into our buses, to work.
So I think that the bus would have to be on. I'm just assuming that,
Right,
and you don't like to assume.
right. Any other questions?
This is just regular school buses, not activity buses.
Right, regular school buses. And again, I mean, right now, we're just trying it out with the 17 high school buses, but it's something that in the future, if we want to extend that, I mean, there is a possibility of doing that. That's why I tried to write it for up to 65 buses, which is our total count of buses currently in the district.
So you need a motion for us to.
Yes.
I'll make the motion.
Mr. Etheridge makes a motion to approve the internet on buses through E-rate.
Yes.
Only E-rate.
Yes.
Second.
Got a second by Mr. Tillman. Any discussion? All in favor by saying aye?
Aye.
All opposed?
Thank you.
And when you find out that answer about if the buses would have to be on, just for our information, because people will probably want to ask us.
Yeah.
Mr. Tillman brought up a good thing, so maybe let
Okay.
Dr. Farrell know, and he can put it in his Friday update sometime.
Okay, sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. King, construction updates. Are you
Good evening, Chairman Satterfield, Dr. Farrell, and members of the board. Starting with Fairview Heights for the capital project update. So we're really just down to a few punch list items. We're trying to finish up there. The canopy that was up, that was taken down for construction, that ties the building into the new gym, has been reinstalled. The storm boxes and all the storm piping will be flushed out, get any sediment in it, anything that may have gotten in it during construction. That'll be all cleaned out in the next couple of weeks. So that building is very close to being finally complete. Any questions on Fairview?
Does that awning tie in aesthetically pretty well to the new building?
The awning?
As far as it looks and
Yes, sir.
everything?
Yes, sir. I believe it does. Yeah, that was not complete when we were there for the building dedication, but it has been done since. Any other questions about Fairview? All right, moving to Mineral Springs, again, just a few punch list items to finish up. The storm boxes and all the pipe in there will be also flushed out next few weeks. The service road began this past Monday. The crews showed back up. So we had a utility pole that was in the way of the designed service road. So they wanted about $10,000 to shift the road about 10 feet north. And so after some going back and forth, I had the utility pole removed for $400. So, you know, we just kind of compromised and road didn't have to be shifted, so we just felt like it was better just to move the pole. So that process should take about 2 weeks. They're also brought in some topsoil around the new building and seeding and strawing that and just kind of tying everything in and getting everything cleaned up. So that'll take about 2 weeks. Any questions on Mineral Springs? All right, moving to the high school. So heating and air, electrical, plumbing, sprinklers, the roof trim, all that's kind of being just worked on daily, making good progress with that. Interior metal studs, the ceilings and walls that are studded up, those are going in place. Drywall in the ceilings for the bathrooms, that's been installed. Block filler on the concrete block, interior walls, that's started being applied yesterday. All the light fixtures, interior doors, the hardware, plumbing fixtures, all those have been delivered to the site. The washer and dryer that the county has appropriated some money for, we're in the process of securing the washer and dryer for the new laundry room. The weight room flooring and the equipment has been ordered. I talked to Mr. Denson today. We're looking at late April to have that installed in a new weight room down in the bottom of the existing gym. So that project's coming along pretty good too. Any questions on the high school?
Did you ever figure out the problem with the painting? Because I know they came back and tried it a second time and it still didn't work.
Yeah, there was the spot that we tested was 10 foot by 10 foot, and there was plywood, there was metal door frame and door, there was concrete block, there was precast concrete, there was several different materials there, which was a good spot to test it on several different things. So the second adhesion test passed on everything except the precast concrete for some reason. So when I met with the paint reps from Sherwin-Williams, we went back and looked, having to go back and sand it with a little more abrasive, like a 60 grit paper to just, fortunately that's a very small portion of the total area. So they are trying to work out a scheduling date to get that complete, get it reworked.
Anybody have any questions?
Questions on high school? So we do have one change order for this month, and I discussed this earlier with Dr. Farrell. We're waiting on signature from Muter, but I'll just briefly discuss it with you. So there were 3 items. One for the high school was to add power for the power divider in the gym. It's like a curtain that'll roll up and down. We had to add power for that, and we had to add some locations for intercoms. After we got to looking at the plans, the building was there, we decided there was a few other locations that needed intercoms for. That total is $6,118.19. Next change order for the high school was for the automatic flush toilets on the 2nd floor. We had to add the wiring or the electrical for that. That was $1,479.28. The third and final one is actually a credit early on in the project, we thought we were gonna have to abate some asbestos flooring in the edge of the band room under the carpet to put a different type of flooring in. If you just remove the carpet, you can put it back. You don't have to bait it, but we were gonna put a different flooring in. So we didn't end up doing that, so that was $3,542 that'll be credited back to our allowance. So the net change order is $7,597.47. Any questions?
In the original plan for the high school, where you have the curtain, it was always gonna be an electric curtain, is that correct?
For the new gym?
Yeah. No, for the new gym, is it an electric curtain or is it just a pull curtain?
No, it's a divider. It goes.
Is it electric divider?
Yes, sir.
So, just asking, why wouldn't the architect put the electricity in if they know it's gonna be an electric divider?
Yeah, when it came up, I asked the same question, and we've had a couple of items that we are making note of. We're working with our attorney just to keep those things, noted, and we'll try to negotiate that at the end, but.
That's on them.
I would think.
And if
yes,
they're
sir.
listening, they should know that's on them.
Any other questions?
Are the bathrooms like the same way as Fairview Heights, where you just walk into the bathroom, lights come on?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a code thing, energy code, it's occupancy sensor. You come in, and then it has a motion sensor, so as long as somebody's in there, I don't know what the time is, but I asked the same question. If you were to go in there and use the restroom, if you were in there 2 minutes, would you be in the dark? And it doesn't work that way. I think it actually has, I'm not sure, but that shouldn't be a problem. It hadn't been a problem at Fairview, and we have the same thing there.
And these funds come out of contingency funds, correct?
Yes, sir.
Appreciate all the work you're doing. I know
Yes,
it's a
sir.
busy time right now.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Does anybody need a break? We can break for a couple seconds or continue on. What's that?
We got one coming in a minute.
Okay, all right. Mr. Ingram, again, policy approvals.
Chairman Satterfield, Dr. Farrell, members of the board. In board docs, you have a list of policies presented last month for review. This being the conclusion of the 30-day review period, I would like to present these policies for adoption. 4040, 7310, staff student relations. 4120, domicile or residence requirements. 4329, 7311, bullying and harassing behavior prohibited. 5022, registered sex offenders.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve the policies as presented.
Have a motion to approve the policies. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Ormsby. Any discussion? All in favor by saying aye. All opposed? Thank you.
Chairman Satterfield, Dr. Farrell, members of the board. In board docs, you have a list of policies that I would like to present for 30-day review. 6430, purchasing requirements for equipment, materials, and supplies. 6450, purchase of services. 7650, employee travel and other expense and reimbursement. 8305, federal grant administration. 9125, participation by minority businesses.
We need to have Jeannie make a cake the first time you don't have to come up here with new policies every month.
Okay.
For the celebration.
We'll work on that.
So no cake, right?
No cake this month. You see,
No cake.
you did 5 of them right there.
And you also have your field trips in board docs.
Yes, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Board comments.
I'll start us out.
Okay.
A lot of us got to attend the Richmond Senior High football banquet. That was amazing. Thank you to Coach Jensen and Mr. Johnson for putting that on. Did an excellent job. Food was great. What I was most impressed with at that banquet, that it was as much about academics as it was athletics. The GPAs of these student athletes was absolutely mind-blowing. So kudos to everyone out there for all of that. Secondly, I did have a chance to go do a walkthrough at LJ Bell, with it being the topic of potential replacement. I called Miss Norwood, and she obliged and was able to get me in and do a walkthrough. There's a lot of work to be done there, and I know that Fairview's the same. So I would encourage everyone, if you haven't been in, to go take a look, because these buildings have some age on them, and I would love to see this board put something in place going forward. And I don't mean for the next 2 years, I mean for the next 50 years, where we're really paying attention to these buildings, because they're aging.
They are.
That's all I have.
Well, I hadn't planned to say this, but listening to Mr. Morrison and Mr. Latimer, I would like to recognize my Catherine Blackwell. She was my, I did my student teaching under her. She was an amazing educator, and she taught all 3 of my children in 1st grade. So anyhow, when they were talking, I thought, and when he said remember, I thought the first one that popped in my mind, and I should have said her name out loud, but Ms. Blackwell was certainly a strong advocate for education, and she not only helped shape my career, she helped shape my life. But she'll always have a special place. But I hope all of you were blessed to know Ms. Blackwell. But I also want to give a short report on the Education Foundation meeting today. Remember, our shoot is April the 4th, and they gave a report today on the empowering educator grants. Every school participated, and they're meeting tomorrow to decide which person from each school will get one, and we'll get a report from that. But I hope that stirred some good interest and lots of good communication and all from our educators, and to let them know how much we appreciate what they do each and every day, and that we're behind them and are there to help them. But anyhow, look forward to hearing 15 names called out, one from each school after tomorrow. Don't forget April the 4th, though. We'll put that on your calendar.
Yeah. Thank you, Bobby Sue.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I just echo the same comments that Scotty had mentioned about the football team. I was impressed with those academic grades more than anything, and so that really says a lot about the coaching and the kids and the work they put into it, not just on the field, but in that classroom. So I appreciate you mentioning that. Then the other thing, I just wanted to just, something to kind of think about, because I've had several parents that have reached out to me and have asked about, like, when kids are exempt from exams, why are they considered absent? It's still showing as if they're absent on their transcript or on their report card. Is there any way that we can kind of like maybe do some kind of coding, a special coding for those kids? Because, I mean, looking at it, I mean, it looks like the kid is missing school. So I said that I would bring it up at a meeting, at our meeting to kind of discuss or see what's going on with that. But I think we need to come up with some kind of plan or something to make sure that those kids that are exempt are not, although they're not penalized, it's showing on their transcript as if they're absent. And so if a person is looking at it, you assume the kid is absent. So something to think about. I also had, and this is just something to think about, I know talked to a couple of custodial staff. They was kind of talking about, like, I guess how they do the floors during the summer and things like that. And they were saying it would be good if they could have like some kind of like training. I don't know if we do trainings with our classified staff, those folks, to kind of make sure everybody's abreast of how the floors and all that stuff is done. I just think you guys may do this, but there needs to be, conversations whenever we're meeting and having those discussions with those folks to make sure that everybody's on the same page. I think that's something that's really, really important. And lastly, just want to thank you all, the board. Y'all really surprised me with that special recognition. Didn't even know that's out. Thank you, Superintendent. Thank you, board members. I've said this to many people. I don't walk around and broadcast what I do. I just do it because that's who I am, and I love what I do, and I'm passionate about it. But I really appreciate you guys and your recognition of me during this time. It's like my wife has said to me, you got to learn to let people just praise you and embrace you. and that's something I'm trying to work on. But I do thank you all for that, and so that really meant a lot.
We were proud of you. Very proud.
And also proud of you being the Grand Marshal of
That was
the
a
MLK
surprise, too, so,
weekend
yeah.
and parade. That was
That was a surprise, too, yeah.
great weekend of celebration.
Dr. Farrell, going back to what he was saying about the counted absence, if they come, is there, what would they do in that classroom while the other students are taking the exam? I mean, do they have something planned? I don't know, I just.
It's a $1 million question.
We actually just had this conversation with the high school. And so what happened was, when students don't come to school, they are absent. They are legally absent. And so what we can do though for them is mark it as excused absence. However, like we cannot mark you present if you are not at school.
I got you.
High school teachers do not tell students not to come to school if they don't have to take an exam, okay? So if they don't come, they're absent. If they do come, to answer your question, I don't know, they just sit in the room.
Well, can they not come and then leave?
Well, but
And
then
get
they're
present.
absent for the portion of the day that
Yeah,
they're
they
not.
have they take attendance 4 times at the high school for each block. So, and just because Jerry knows and Daryl knows, when I was at the high school, parents would call me during exam time and say, no, my child's coming to school. So the teachers would have to prepare something for those students, and they would be in a certain part of the school because part of the school was under lock and key with testing. Because don't forget, we had, 11 EOCs at that time, and you still have it. So yes, they can come to school if they want.
Absolutely they can. It's, what has happened is I think that it is misunderstood that you are exempt from the exam. You are not exempt from coming to school, absence-wise.
Well, I think there needs to be a clear conversation with the students and with the families and the parents, because that's not what, you know, because.
Exactly what we met about.
Absolutely, yeah. Because, you know, I for one have one, and if I know that that's the case, he'll be in school, and we just have to figure out somewhere, you know, my thing is, long as the kids have some, you know, I don't want them just being at school with unsupervised or nothing to do, because then that's when kids gonna get in trouble. So we need to just make sure there's things in place to make sure these kids are where they need to be, you know.
Maybe there's something we could come up with some alternative activities that would encourage them to do better on the exam, so that we'd have more doing that to be exempt, but be able to work around the absence.
That all started probably 30 years ago when Mr. Robertson did that because grades were poor at the high school. So he made it where if you had an A in the class, now Jerry, tell me, that's been a long time.
I think it's an A and it had a certain number of absences.
Like
and
under
B.
3 absences
Yeah.
or 2 absences, you were exempt from your exam.
Yeah.
It's A and 4, B and 3, that's what they.
That's exactly what it was, thank you. So, in just a matter of a semester, attendance became great. Kids didn't want to take the exam.
I guess the thing, we just need to make sure parents are aware of this, because if they're calling, then they're concerned about their child's absence.
And I couldn't even answer because, and I'm a board member, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like.
I had forgotten, because I don't think my children was in the years where you could exempt.
Gary, how about you?
Let me, well, we had a planning session that we didn't have since the last board. So, and I think people really need to know that we just don't come to a board meeting sometimes. We have other things going on that we're trying to work out to make Richmond County Schools better. I had, on the 28th of January, we had a SHAC meeting, Student Health Advisory Council, and Bess was able to come. It's so interesting to know the number of people that are cooperatively working with Richmond County Schools to make things happen for students. And that's one of the good things. And Dr. Wendy Jordan has a great thing going there, because there are other people in the state that are looking at Richmond County, because we've had it going so long. I had Levi Miranda, I think is how his name is, Miranda.
That's correct.
He invited me over one day. He said, I want you to come just for 5 minutes to watch the band play the Star Spangled Banner. And they played it before the girls' game, and they play it before the boys' game. And that particular day, I think there was maybe 10 people, and one of the 10 people playing was the band director, Levi, playing a clarinet. But it's amazing how good they are after just a short period of time being in band. And that, again, that's feeders for Richmond Senior High School. So it's a good positive thing. And I went to the spelling bee on I think it was the 31st. And it's a shame, but it's also a positive thing that we have Google. You know, because nowadays I remember when I was in school, in elementary school back in the 60s, actually maybe in the 50s, you had to learn how to spell words because you had 10 words a week. You had to learn to spell the word correctly out loud and also on paper, and then you also had to write a sentence with it. But nowadays, if you don't know the word, you just say, how do you spell this word, Google? And it pops on the screen for it. So that's something that's happening.
You must know how to spell it, or you couldn't write it down.
And I told, Brad sent us out a thing. Scotty and Ronald have already said this, but how really good the football banquet was to tell everybody, because you felt a camaraderie there that sometimes you don't feel. It was a good camaraderie. I think that's it.
Thank you, Jerry. Just a few things. I'm reading to 2 students over at LJ Bell on Monday mornings, and it's one of the funnest things I do during the week. Trinity and Melissa are sweet little first graders, and they're just lovely kids, and they're doing really well. And I thoroughly enjoy that program that they're doing there. I think Ms. Ormsby started that program, so kudos to you, because that's really a good program. I did walk the school as well. It is an old school, but you know something? That custodian and that school needs to be commended because it is clean and really nice. Floors are gorgeous, so they do the best they can with it. Also, the floors that you were talking about, I know, Mr. Ingram, there's somebody you can bring in here to train the custodians. Or that's Dr. Carter. Yeah, you can bring somebody in to train them. There's companies out there that you buy supplies from that have people to come in.
Sandra used to come.
Sandra, that's her name, Sandra.
She was here not long ago.
Yeah.
Sandra.
That's great. Good. But again, football banquet was great, and I appreciate what they're doing there. So thanks to all the board members for their comments. Anybody else? Dr. Farrell.
Well, I'll start out by, since we've been doing some shout outs for Richmond County educators, I want to, one that did not get mentioned that I think should be mentioned because, you know, he did a lot for me coming into this job, and that's Mr. Dennis Quick. You know, he did a lot to keep things where they needed to be and between the lines when you all were doing a superintendent search, and he's been available to me, and I know he's a very quiet, humble man and probably would not want any recognition, but he certainly did a lot of good things here over the years for both adults and students. So just give him a quick shout out. We have tonight at 7 p.m. at the Cole, we have an outstanding Black History program that Arthur Gillum and some of them have worked really, really hard on. If you did not get a chance to go to that last year, it was outstanding, and I anticipate it being that way. Again, tonight it starts again at 7 p.m. at the Cole Auditorium. So I'll be heading over there after our meeting. And then we are honoring on Friday the 14th of February in Fayetteville, we're going to honor Miss Jenny Lee, who is our Teacher of the Year from East Rockingham Elementary School, and our Principal of the Year, Miss Angel May from Mineral Springs. They'll be going with me to the Sandhills RESA meeting to be recognized and honored. So just wanted to also give a little shout out to those 2 excellent educators. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Dr. Farrell. Need a motion to go into closed session under North Carolina General Statute 143-318, 11A, 3, and 6. Got a motion by, tied for one for Mr. Mason and
I'll take the
Mr. Baldwin, and second by Mr. Baldwin. Is there any discussion? Okay, all in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are now in closed session. Senior has 2 math positions open at Richmond Senior High School. You know how hard that is to fill. And 2, having 2 out is terrible.
Chairman Satterfield, Dr. Farrell, members of the board, on board docs is a personnel report and addendum. I'm asking for approval at this time of the personnel report and addendum and the presented, administrative contracts as amended.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve the personnel report as presented with the amended contracts.
Second.
Have a first by Mr. Baldwin, second by Mr. Tillman. Any conversation? All in favor by saying aye?
Aye.
All opposed? Personnel report is approved. Okay, so we will need now to go back into closed session under North Carolina General Statute 143-318-11A, 3 and 6. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Baldwin, second by Mr. Etheridge. All in favor by saying aye? Aye. All opposed? All right, we are back in closed session.